everybody, this is Angela Savage, the daughter of IndyCar driver Swede Savage. It's time to watch Stories from Motorsports. My buddy, Doug Kenny, loves to share the journey of people in racing, and he is an amazing dude. Drivers, owners, fans, and team members, watch the SFM podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny from Stories from Motorsports. I'd like to thank my buddy Josh Mabe for the YouTube work he did years ago that inspired me to create this platform. I'd like to thank my buddy Victor Sifton for convincing me to get back into it after my hiatus from 2017 to 2019. I have a very special treat for you all today with an amazing journey from an amazing racing figure. Drivers, start your engines. Alrighty, let's try this again. Again, I'm attempting an interview with Kevin Lepage, a former NASCAR Winston Cup competitor. Let's try this again. Hey, is this Kevin?
This is him.
Are you free right now to after?
I am, sir.
Alrighty, and since it looks like that your schedule is kind of a little bit short, I've decided to reduce the interview to just 10 questions. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that'll work.
Alrighty. My first question is, where are you originally from?
Shelburne, Vermont.
Nice. What is it like there?
It's beautiful in the summer for about 30 days, and then winter comes. No, seriously, it's a nice small state, a lot of mountains, good skiing in the wintertime, and beautiful sunny summers, and just a small little state.
Nice. I'm originally from Estes Park, Colorado.
Okay, well, it's got a lot of similarities to Colorado.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Alrighty, my next question after that is, what made you get into motor racing?
Well, years ago, when I was a kid, my dad used to drag race at the local track. And, I was a big gearhead then. And then as he got out of racing, we went to our local track with our record. And I just love watching cars go around. And my brother started racing, older brother started racing 5 years before I did. And then he got married, and I took his ride over, and just, the rest is history.
Nice. What was the significance of your Busch team's number 71?
Well, actually, it's a funny story. We came down here, and I raced up north. Started my career with number 17, and I came south. I applied for 17, and they said 17 was taken, so they gave me 71. So it was Daytona. Robbie Reiser and Matt Kenseth team, they wanted 71, and they said that the number was taken, and they gave them 17. So it was a short period of time. Both of us wanted our own numbers, but for whatever reason, we didn't get them. So that's why I ended up with 71.
Nice. What was driving for Buzz McCall's team like in 1998, American Equipment Racing?
The Caterpillar car?
Yeah, the Caterpillar one, yeah.
Yeah, I drove only one race for them. I think they were looking at doing a different driver or just trying to evaluate their program. David Green was their driver. And we went to Richmond, had a really solid day. Had a fast race car. I think we finished in the top 15. I'm not exactly sure. I honestly thought it was going to turn into longer races or more races, but it didn't happen. But it definitely, he had the team that should have competed a whole lot more, and then for wins than what it did.
All right. What was driving for Roush Racing like?
It was interesting. I mean, we were back then. We were a 5-car team. We had 2 teams. Mark Martin and Jeff Burton's cars were housed out of Mooresville. Myself and Johnny Benson were housed out of Liberty, North Carolina, and Chad Little was housed out of Mooresville. For the first couple of years, we were doing a lot of traveling, meetings and that stuff, and then when we finally moved to Roush Racing in Concord, where all 5 teams were, I only lasted a year, and then they shut the team down. Jack was an awesome guy. Still to the day, we remain friends, and there was times that I should have won races, but I made mistakes, and but he gave me the equipment to win races. That's for sure.
Nice. So were those the good years of your racing career, like the best years of your career?
Yes and no. I had solid races at Morgan-McClure. We had a lot of fast race cars. We went through some major body changes with Pontiac and Chevrolet. We had fast race cars on a lot of speedway races and just got caught up in the big one. We had some fast mile-and-a-half cars and, bad pit stop here or an untimely caution, cost some good finishes. The Nation Red car with Jim Smith, we had very fast Fords. We ran about every racetrack that we went to with them, and I think I ran about a half a dozen races with them. We qualified in the top 10, ran in the top 10, and, bad pit stop or something fell off the car. So, we had multiple cars, race teams that we ran good. And then I had my own team, my own Bush team, when I came down here, and then, when we got hired with David Ridlin, who gave me my first win at Homestead. We had awesome Chevrolets and probably should have won a dozen or so races, and again, just circumstances were out of our control on a lot of them. Being on pit road, leading, and caution comes out, puts you down a lap. I mean, just crazy thing. But I would say that the 500 some odd races I've drove in NASCAR, all of them were defining moments in my career.
Nice. What was your reaction to Scott Pruitt winning the pole at Watkins Glen in your car?
It was awesome. I mean, we expected to win the race. We went up there. We put a lot of effort in that car for Scott. We went up and tested for 2 days, and we knew our only competition was going to be Ron Fellows. And when we went up to the race, I wasn't there. I wasn't there for qualifying. I went up the day of the race, and we got the pole, and they dropped the green flag, and Scott was gone. And after about 10 laps, he come over the radio, and he says, I'm running out of brakes. What did you guys do? And I'm like, well, we put all new stuff on this thing. I mean, I don't know, and he managed to finish, not sure, I think it was the top 10 finish, top 5, something like that. And the following week, we were at a racetrack, and Ron Bell's crew chief came over and said, I got to tell you, we found something in brake pads that you guys, we didn't want to tell you guys because you guys were going to beat us. And what happened was the brake pads that we needed to run were no longer made out of country. They were made in the United States. And they had to eliminate some of the asbestos on it. And they found an old set of brake pads, and they put them in Ron's car just before they got to the racetrack. And that was the only reason why Ron won that race. crew chief said Ron was mad as heck on the radio because Scott was pulling away from waving to him going up through the S's. That's how fast their Ford was. But, we put a lot of effort in it, and, Scott did a great job for us, and we were hoping to do a couple more races, but just things didn't work out for us.
All righty. What made you join Morgan-McClure Motorsports in 2001?
I was unemployed, and they called me up after, I think, Robbie Gordon left. We had a really good, solid relationship that year, and then they let me go at the end of the season, and I don't know, I think it was Skinner or Spencer they put in. And then about a year later, they called me back up to go back in that car, and their biggest regret was to let me go the first time. And, I feel bad for the organization because it was an organization that still should be in the sport today.
Yeah.
But being up in Virginia, the top 35 rule came in, which they were 36 when that rule was implemented. Penske took their sponsor, just a lot of things that hurt that organization. But, I really enjoyed, racing for that group, and still remain friends with those guys today.
All righty. That's good to hear that you're still friends with them. And what was driving for Bob Jenkins like, front row?
Bob was, when I got there, Bob was just getting his feet wet in the sport. He was a guy who enjoyed racing, had a little bit of money, and, wanted an experienced driver in there to help get the program where it needed to be. And, unfortunately, we had some behind-the-scenes stuff that was going on that crew chiefs wanted to bring their own driver in and not me. And Bob would call me up and ask me, what my opinion was, and I would tell him, and then he asked the crew chief, and he'd get a different answer. But then Bob would call me back and say, I'm hearing two different stories, and I'm like, Bob, I got nothing to lie to you about. My career's on the downhill side. Some of these guys, are looking to stay in the business, working wise, whatever. I really don't care. If you want to fire me, you can fire me. But I'm just telling you, this is what direction we need to go. And it lasted a few more months, and then, they went a different direction. But, Bob's a good friend of mine. Here he is later after we got out of the Cup car. We did an Xfinity program together for a few races, and just a really nice guy.
That's pretty cool. And this is my last one I'm going to ask because it looks like, your schedule is a little bit tight. So.
I got plenty of time.
Oh, well then I think I can probably add a few more questions then probably. Okay. Alrighty. So what was driving for Beth Morgenthau like?
Tony and Beth are great people. Unfortunately, they were out-of-sight car owners. They'd only show up for the races. They wouldn't be at the shop during the day, during the week. And we had some very fast race cars. Just unfortunately, we had some wrong people in the mix, starting from general manager to the parts guy down to crew chiefs. I mean, just a lot of different people that didn't need to be in the position that they were in. And again, another fine car owner that left the sport way too early.
Alrighty. What is racing at the Daytona 500 like?
Back in the day, it was awesome. I mean, we used to love going down there. All the cars were different. You could tell the manufacturers, if you're running a Ford or a Chevrolet or a Pontiac or a Dodge, each car would react different behind another car. So you'd be out there in the draft trying to figure out which car you could race with the next day. We finished ninth in the Daytona 500 and had a car that realistically should have been top five, but they had a caution late race, and it just got everybody punched up. But we were for an underdog team, under-financed team. That was a big deal for us that day.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Finishing ninth at Daytona was pretty cool, it looks like.
Absolutely.
What was driving for Joe Falk like in 1998, LJ Racing?
Actually started back in 97. He called me up and wanted me to go to New Hampshire. And we went up to New Hampshire and practiced well all day. We were in the top 20, which was the best that car had been. And we went in the qualifying. We went through 1 and 2. And on the lap tractor, we were fourth fastest. And unfortunately, we carried so much speed, we got down in 3 and 4. And his first time in a Cup car, we overdrove the corner, slid up the racetrack, and missed the race. So he said, you were very impressive. We said, we'll go to Charlotte, and we'll get down there and test. And if you're fast enough, we'll go back to the race. So we went down there, we tested. We left the night in second place, right behind Ryan Newman in the Penske car.
Ooh.
And went back for the race and qualified top 10, top 15, which was the best qualifying to date in that car.
Ooh.
And Joe was excited, so he hired me for the off season. We brought in a crew chief, Doug Riker. Went to Daytona, starting off for Rookie of the Year, and I don't remember when it was, probably half a dozen races into the season, we got a phone call to go drive for Roush.
Ooh.
And I was honest with Joe. I told him point blank, he gave me an opportunity that probably nobody else would have. I said, I've got an opportunity to go race for Roush, but the seat doesn't open for another month. I'd like to stay in the car and help you out, until you find a driver. And he said, oh, yeah, no problem, And we went to Sonoma, qualified the car in Sonoma, came in race morning, and Tommy Kendall was getting in my car, and I was fired right out of California.
Alrighty. That makes sense. And what was your reaction to leading your first laps in Winston Cup competition at Pocono?
Anytime you can lead a lap, no matter where you are, it's just exciting. My whole career is full of excitement. There's a lot of firsts for me, especially being from Vermont. First Vermonter to lead a cup race, first Vermonter to win a Busch Series race, first Vermonter to win a Cup pole. Just a lot of firsts, and something that I'm very proud to represent the state like I did.
That's good on you. And what was Jack Roush's reaction to you winning the pole in Atlanta?
He's actually surprised, because even though, I was a team car, there was a pecking order there. I was most generally third or fourth, sometimes even fifth depending on what racetrack we went to. And, for us to win the pole was exciting. And then, we ended up being in the Bud Shootout the following year, which was cool. We had back tools on the car for a one-off deal. So, just not winning the pole was just the one thing. We ended up having to go to run the Bud Shootout, so we had to sell a speedway car for there. So, just a lot of positives out of it.
That's great to hear. And that sounds like you had a lot of fun. And what was it like finishing fifth at Darlington?
It was one of my favorite racetracks. I loved Darlington from the first time I went there. The year we finished fifth, it was 2 years combined, 4 races. We were the only driver, and those are the years I was at Roush, were the only driver to finish in the top 10, 4 races in a row, and be on the lead lap in 4 races at the end in a row. So we had a setup there. I loved the place. Would have won that race if we didn't have rain out. That's it. They won during the rain, but we passed him 2 or 3 different times throughout the day, and unfortunately, Mother Nature got us that day. But we had a fast forward there.
Wow. So yeah, what led to your departure from Roush?
Sponsorship issues. We didn't have a Prime Star was leaving, TV Guide was leaving, and they were struggling to find a sponsor for me. They worked really hard to find one and just couldn't put it together.
Alrighty. What was your crew chief, Scott Eggleston, like?
Scott, I've worked with Scott a couple different times. I worked with him at Roush. I worked with him over at BAM. I worked with him at Front Row. I even worked with him at Morgan-McClure. We worked good together. When he asked me a question, I gave him an answer, and he was able to fix it. If he second-guessed himself, he always asked me, and, we talked about it. Came up with a game plan.
Pretty cool. What was being an owner-driver like in the Winston Cup?
Well, back in the day, I only ran one race, I believe, as an owner-driver. We had a lot of help. Doug Yates gave me a motor. I shouldn't say gave me a motor, but he rented me a motor and go to the 600 and qualified top 15 in my own car. And we just had a lot of help. We had to throw together a pit crew and open up a lot of eyes. I think that's what made me stay in the Cup Series, a few more years, and where, we took this car that was an old Grand Prix Haas car that didn't make Indy with Shauna Robinson, and we put it together, went to Charlotte. Like I said, ran in top 15. I think we finished top 20. Not 100% sure.
Cool. What was driving the 57 car for Ted Campbell like?
Ted was a fun guy. The crew was fun. Even though they only ran a limited schedule, their goal was to come full time. And we had some very, very, very fast Fords there. Very fast Fords. And just a great guy. I wish Ted would have able to put this thing together, because he would have been a fun car owner in NASCAR today.
Yeah. What's the difference between racing at Talladega and Daytona Speedway?
Back in the day, Daytona was a handling racetrack. Talladega, you just kept your foot on it all day long and just run wide open. A lot more room. I always look forward to go to Daytona, because I seem to be able to drive a slick, wore-out racetrack better than Talladega, even though I ran good at both of them.
That's cool. Yeah, they're both, if I remember right, they're both super speedways where drafting is common.
Mm-hmm.
What is road course racing like?
It was different. I did a little bit up in Vermont at the old Loudon, New Hampshire racetrack. We did some road racing up there. I liked it because it gave us a change of pace. I never really quite figured out Sonoma. Love Watkins Glen. We were able to go to Mexico City with the Xfinity program, and I just love road racing. Again, we had a car that should have won at Watkins Glen with Morgan-McClure. We had a $2 park bail on us on the brakes. And, cost us a good finish.
What year was that?
I don't remember, to be honest with you. It's just we were running third behind Terry Labonte and Ricky Rudd, and all of a sudden the brakes gave out on me, and we came down pit road and put the brake fluid in. By that time, we lost the lap. And just a tough day, and Larry was mad as heck when we got done, because we had a car that should have won, or at least top five. And next thing I know, we got to the race shop on Tuesday, and they found the part failure in the brake. And Larry changed his tune then, because the brake pads looked brand new. I wasn't hard on the brakes, just what they call a banjo fitting.
What is racing in Mexico City like?
I probably wouldn't do it again. Air travel was good getting there, but just going through customs and dealing with 26 million people in Mexico City, getting to and from the racetrack, to and from the airport. It was just, I mean, the racetrack itself was fun, but just the area was something I would go back to.
Alrighty. And what was racing for Tad Geschechter like at ST Motorsports?
I ran for Tad a couple different times. One time, I think Robert Presley got hurt. We were at South Boston. We had a really good car. And then we put a deal together to go to Homestead and out-qualified all their team cars and actually ran very well down there. Another racetrack that I love. So, I mean, I was happy to see Tad make it in the business. I mean, he puts a lot of effort into it, dealing with sponsors and stuff, and he's been successful in it.
Yeah, did you hear that Allmendinger won for the team in the Cup Series a few years back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the races that I liked that year, where I was accepting of the outcome, if you know what I mean. Because Allmendinger really deserved it. No other way to put it.
Yeah.
And it was really amazing. You got to give Allmendinger one for being able to make that comeback from his doping issue in 2012.
Yeah. Once you make a mistake, it's tough to come back, but he did.
Yeah, and not only that, but he became a Cup Series winner, which was really amazing.
Yeah.
What was racing the Truck Series like compared to the Cup or Busch Series?
It reminded me a lot of Saturday Night Racing. Just relax. I tested one of the first trucks that ever became, before they even started a series down in Disneyland, and always wanted to run them. Fortunate enough, I ran for Bobby Dotter a handful of races, and again, I was hoping that when I retired from Cup or Xfinity that I would have opportunity to go truck racing, and I just stayed too long in the Xfinity program and went to a truck deal. But I was trying to get some more wins in, and just never worked out.
Yeah, that's tough. What NASCAR series did you enjoy best between Winston Cup, Busch, or Truck Series?
To be honest with you, all of them.
Yeah.
We had great fans at every race that we went to. I had success in all of them. I mean, I never won a Cup race, but I came close so many times, and I could go back and name probably 2 dozen races that we should have won. I can tell you what happened and what lap it happened. So, I mean, all 3 of them were good to me, and I can't say one was better than the other.
Yeah, a lot of drivers have told me the same thing. Yeah. What's your favorite classic film involving race cars between The Love Bug, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and The Last American?
Probably Days of Thunder.
Oh yeah, that would be on that list. Yeah, because it's
just
classic.
Because it was more current, and the race shop, is not far from where I live here in Forestville. So I mean, that would probably be the one.
Yeah, I might need to start adding Days of Thunder to that list when I ask questions, because all the other drivers are telling me the same thing. Days of Thunder is the best.
Yeah.
So I might need to start adding that on my list of questions, Days of Thunder. What was the feeling of racing in the Gatorade duels that qualify the cars for the Daytona 500?
They were, before they had the lock-in, they were more of a strategy race, trying to get yourself high enough to get a good pit stop. But when they started to have to race your way in, they only gave 2 spots. That's when it really became challenging, both mentally race because you had to be on top of your game. And fortunate enough for us, we always made those races by bringing good race cars and making the right changes and the right decisions at the right time.
Alrighty. Pretty cool. What was your reaction to finishing 9th at Daytona in 2005?
Again, I mean, for an underfunded team with a race car that had never qualified for a speedway race, I was happy for the car owners.
Alrighty.
They would put a lot of money into it, and they just gave us the best what they could, and it was a fun race.
Alrighty, that's pretty cool. And again, it's pretty cool to see the underdogs perform very well. And
been there, done.
Go ahead.
I said I've been there, done that.
All right. What was racing for R&J Racing like?
That's the team that we raced for at Daytona and finished 9th with.
Oh, okay. All right. So, what was the biggest disappointment of your racing career?
I would say not being a cup winner.
Yeah.
That we should have won a bunch. Just let some of them slip away. You know, both I made mistakes, team made mistakes, and NASCAR made some mistakes. So I mean, it was not one particular thing, just a disappointing thing that we never got.
Yeah. All right. Are you religious at all? And if so, how has it impacted your career?
Well, you know, yeah, I am religious, Catholic. You know, I always said a prayer before I started the car. And, you know, because I always told people that, you know, when I was racing, when I got in my race car, I got in my office or I got in my coffin. I just didn't know what day was going to happen.
All right.
You know, left my life in God's hands.
Yeah, that's good on you, man. I really like that. I'm Christian, so it's a similar thing. I'm similar to you in that. Alrighty, so this is my last question on my list, which we ended up covering the whole interview after all, which I'm grateful for. But this is my last one on the list. And it is, what are you doing now that your career in NASCAR might be over?
Well, when I was still racing, I bought a small landscape company because I knew racing wasn't going to be forever. And I grew it from 25 customers to over 100 customers. And I'm a guy that stays back in the office and does all the mechanic work and does all the billing and estimating and stuff. And when the guys need me, I'll go out and work with them. I mean, I enjoy being outside. That's why I bought a landscape company. Just kind of take it easy and play a lot of golf. And just enjoying life after NASCAR, which a lot of people don't understand that there is a life after NASCAR, but there is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And what is hospice again?
Pardon me?
Didn't you say hospice, or did I misheard that? And if so, what's hospice?
No, I didn't. I don't know what you're saying.
Oh, okay, never mind. I must have misheard something you said. I apologize for that.
Oh, no worries.
Alrighty. Thank you for your time, and I'll let you know.
What are you going to use this stuff for?
Oh, if I didn't say it already on social media, I'll say it again. If you're okay with it, I'm gonna be using it in an ebook I'm writing about motor racing in the United States. I'm doing a whole report on motor racing, such as NASCAR, sports cars, Indy cars, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. When do you hope to have it done?
I hope to have it done hopefully within the next couple years, but I'm kind of focusing my time right now on getting the information by interviewing, people from the sport before I start writing it.
All right, awesome. Well, looking forward to reading it when it's done.
Yep, and whenever it's published, which it's an ebook, so whenever it's published, I'll send it to you through our Facebook Messenger. All right?
All right, bud.
All righty. Thank you very much, Kevin.
All right, bye-bye.
Have a good one. Alrighty, that turned out well. I think I misheard him on the final thing he said, but you know, things happen. You make mistakes, live and learn. Alrighty, so that worked out. Thanks to all who joined me.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please hit like and subscribe if you did so, and please continue supporting our amazing guest. And everybody, we'll see you next time on SFM.
Hi, this is Ted Warner speaking. While the checkered flag is waved for this program, stay tuned for next week for the next episode of SFM. Thanks to Doug Kenny for what he does for Motorsports.